all here today for Greenwood Bonsai Bash to celebrate our 45th year here at Greenwood. If you've been here before, you'll notice a few ongoing changes since you were perhaps last here. We've just last year refurbished the studio here behind me. We're halfway through refurbishing the shop. So in a couple of weeks' time we're finishing this side of the shop. So probably next time you come up here, there'll be a gate across there and we're going to not let you in anymore. Yeah, you're going to have to go through the shop and spend a little bit more than you normally do. Yeah, and then we're going to let you out into the nursery. So on behalf of me and Paul, I want to welcome you all here. We had a cracking turnout yesterday. I've ordered good weather for today as well. They said it's going to be cloudy today, and if this is cloudy, that's fine by us. Yeah, we've got to give thanks to the wives and friends that are doing all the catering over there. Yesterday it was like Alton Towers when we looked over there, wasn't it? Yeah, and I need a VIP card today so I can push my way to the front and get a slice of cake or something like that. Yeah, so as far as trees that we're working on, I'll give you a little introduction to the trees. Paul's going to be in the shop, so if you do get the desire to spend your money, there's some cracking trees out on the bench. We've got really good stocks of trees, and every year when we do this event, we always think we need another week, don't we? Yeah. Before it starts. And this year we've almost got to where we need to be. I've got a volunteer that came up on Wednesday to he comes up and does some weeding for us every so often. He came up on Wednesday. I gave him his normal weeding bucket, and he said, "Can't find any. I can't find any." And I said, "Well, you have to look a bit harder." So we have put a lot of work in the last few weeks trying to get it all looking really nice for you. Lots of blossom out and new fresh spring colours. You know, doing this event at this time of year is really colourful nursery. So I'll let Paul go back into the shop. Yeah, no doubt you'll all see him later. Yeah, or you should do when you're buying stuff off him. Yeah, queuing up. Don't keep him chatting like yesterday though. Just throw your money at him and then just move on. So that's okay. Yeah, because he will get to chatting to you. Yeah. So Josh here is my cameraman. If you follow us on YouTube, he's the one behind the lens. Today he's managed to press record, so press record. He only forgot once to press it, but we have to mention it at every opportunity. So he's going to be doing some general shots of the nursery and that sort of thing. So demonstration-wise, this weekend I always do a couple of demonstrations. I like to do them to bring you here, but I don't want to do too many because obviously you need to walk around and buy some stuff while you're here. But I'm going to do a little bit of demonstrations for you today. Let me tell you what you missed yesterday if you weren't here. So yesterday we worked on this Japanese white pine. This is a seedling white pine. What that means is it's not grafted onto black pine. It's originally grown from seed. It's probably quite potentially a 45-year-old tree. And if it's grafted onto black pine, you get a more bluey green tone to the needles. This shorter needle with a pale yellowy green is reminiscent of what you do get on a seedling white pine. So semi-cascade style, got some age to it, some potential to it. So if you weren't here yesterday, we'll put photographs of this before on our Facebook page. We'll do a video montage to show you what it looked like yesterday. And essentially, there was a lot of awkwardness in this lower branch. We cut a lot of sections out of here, pulled this back together. The top was very flat. Me and Josh were looking at the before photograph yesterday. Once I'd finished it, we took a big section off the top here that was going to the rear of the tree, and it was quite heavy. And that's managed to get us. We've managed to taper the apex in a lot better with that reduction. The only thing we've got to alter on this tree going forward is this section here. I want to pull this down about 1.5 inches or so. So it's difficult to do in this particular situation. Once we put this tree out on the bench for sale, I can wire this tree down to the bench, and then I can wire this branch down to the bench. Yeah. So we're probably going to do that so that over time this section is going to appear a little bit lower. Okay. So that's just what we got up to yesterday. I'll just move that out of the way. So the next one that we're working on today, I've been looking forward to working on in the last 2 years. That makes you a regular customer. Then it's surprising how many people come up and say, oh, I was here 40 years ago. I said, well, you're lucky I'm still in business. Can you turn up a bit more often? Yeah. So, but if you've turned up in the last 2 years, this has been living on the first bench over there. I bought it off eBay, and we all know that you can buy all sorts of stuff off eBay. Bought this off eBay from a fella up in Carlisle somewhere, and he had it in his collection for about 3 or 4 years, and he'd not done anything with it. He didn't really know what to do with it, and he said, I don't know what to do with that, I've had it 3 years. He said, before that my mate had it for 3 years and he didn't know what to do with it. And he said, I'm glad you're buying it because you're going to do something with it, aren't you? An easy option. But there's just something that makes me think that'll be too easy, and I fancy doing something a little bit different. So what we're going to do that's a little bit different, we're going to try and raise it up with this bit of wood. Right, Tom, do you want to give us a hand with this? Seeing as you made the bit of wood. Yeah?
Was there applause? Sorry.
Tom is rebuilding our shop. This is the sort of work you know, all the way round. Yeah, where we're going to put it. Just soften up a little bit. Like that. Yeah.
You're a camera.
Yeah. So I'm just keeping an eye on the joints.
Cheers, everyone.
So Tom's made this sort of stand so that I can work on it at an approximate angle I want to put it at. Right. So the idea with this, now this isn't going to be. It's going to be a bit tricky. It's going to be particularly tricky when we go to pot it. So I'm not going to pot it up today. Yeah. Because we've got roots coming up here, and we've got a gin going down. So ultimately we're going to have some sort of custom made container for this to go into, but I'm going to worry about that at a later date. Yeah? But I've just got this thought in my head that if we had a front probably in here, so probably where you are, Ollie, coming in here like this, that we've got the movement in the lower trunk, and then this coming up sort of, if we're going to be arty-farty, we say that's ascending into the clouds. That's a good one. Did you get that on video, Josh? Yeah, I've got to do more things like that apparently. So this is going to be ascending into the clouds and then coming back down, and we have all foliage here. So we're thinking of something a little bit like that. Yeah. So it can probably live on this stand for a while. So the idea is to try and get this into some sort of shape. If I was organised and considerably more professional, I would have already spent hours having a look at this foliage and branches and deciding what I'm going to do. I'm neither of those things, so I'm just going to have a look at it now and decide, and then I find it a bit more challenging doing it that way because I haven't sort of predetermined which branches I'm cutting off and which I'm keeping or where I'm putting them, and it's a more sort of raw process when we're styling it and creating it. So that's the idea behind it, and then we'll see whether the guy I got it from might contact me and say, oh, at least you've done something with it. He might say, I wish I never sold it to you. Yeah. So I mean, that could be for good reasons or for bad reasons. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have a look at it. Like I say, I haven't really explored the foliage. It's got a lot of long candles on it. See if we can cut back to some more compact foliage. When we first got this, it was quite sparse, and I think it's at the point now where it's healthy. We've got good density to it. If we leave it too much longer, this is just going to get leggier and leggier. So we've got to a point with this tree where it's ready for this sort of work to be done. So musical chairs, people drifting in. So if there's some other spare chairs over there, you can grab them. And we'll make a little start with this. So the first thing to do is to have a look at the foliage. Like I say, I really haven't addressed it that much at all. I'll try and explain what it's doing as we work our way through it. So I think the first thing to do is to go in there, have a look at the structure and see what's happening. I think it has been wired in the past, judging by some of this movement in these branches. There's no wire scars on it. There's a few dead stubs. There's a gin in here at the top. Not a very particularly good one here. It's all snapped off. So we'll get rid of that altogether. So let's take that stub back into here. We don't need that as part of the design. It's got a lot of movement in here, It's going to make it a little bit tricky to wire some of this, like to mix it up. So the exhibition in the studio, we've got maybe, we never counted them, did we, Josh? We've got 20 trees or something like that in there. And there's some trees that I know are new, you haven't seen them before, as well as some old favourites. There's also some trees. Hello, it's a few days after our annual Bonsai Bash here at Greenwood Bonsai Studio. We had such a successful event. I'd like to thank everyone that attended. We've had such good response from you guys on Facebook and YouTube about the event. We're so pleased. We put a lot of effort into it. At the start of this video, you'll see me starting working on a couple of trees, and we just wanted to just have a little bit at the end of the video just to show you them both finished if you weren't able to attend. You know, admittedly, we didn't manage to get as much footage during the event as normal. We were a bit busy with customers, so Josh the cameraman was busy helping customers out, and we didn't get quite as much filming done. We're going to rectify that for next year, so apologies if you did want to see more. You're going to have to come along and see more in real life. But just to show you what you missed, I'm just stood here with the two demonstration trees we worked on. This was the Saturday tree that I worked on Saturday morning. Japanese white pine, seedling, grown from seedling, on its own roots in a semi-cascade style. Front marks just here, and that was a fully trimmed and wired and styled tree. I spent about 4 hours on it on the Saturday. The issues were it got a very lumpy section in this low branch that we took out, and it got a double apex on it up here. There was another apex that came out the back. It was kind of quite flat topped. We'll show you before and after photograph of this so you can see how it's transitioned from before to this. It's out here in a nice sunny day in the UK, so it's it looks a little bit dry. It was actually watered yesterday. Can't believe it's dried out so quick in a short space of time. But the pines don't mind that, a little bit of dry weather and a bit of sun on the back, and they're quite happy. So that was the first tree, and then this one was the tree that I worked on Sunday. If you look back earlier in the video, you'll see it growing flat, horizontal, and I had an idea with this, rather than make it into a cascade or semi-cascade, was to lift it up like this so that we've got this section coming up into the clouds, dropping back down to give us the foliage. We're showing off the movement in the trunk a lot better. We're going to have a custom pot made for this, or some sort of potting arrangement. We're not quite sure what design that's going to be yet. We did a bit of fiddling about with branches up in here. This whole branch here was actually coming over the top. This branch was coming over the top of here and dropping down, so I actually managed to thread it back through from the top and drop it underneath, so it's given us this foliage pad down here. And again, it's responding really well. It's only worked on a while back. The candles are elongating. Some of these just want pinching back now. It's doing really, really well out here in the sun. So just wanted to thank you all for coming along. We're aiming to do a similar event next year in May. So keep your eye out on Facebook and YouTube for information like that. Just want to do a little roundup to show you the trees